Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today we will be seeing the current affairs for the date of 24th of October. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. And these are the topics which we'll be seeing today. The first one is regarding the AI generated content. We'll seeing the positive aspects of AI generated content, and also we'll be seeing about the deepfakes and its challenges. Second is we will be seeing about the Maoist Insurgency. We'll see about the Naxalism, the Red Corridor, and the present state spread of Naxalism in India. And the third topic is regarding the unreliable air and noise monitoring networks in India. We will be seeing why data is very important for data-driven public policy. And the fourth topic is regarding the rights and protection of domestic workers in India. And the fifth topic is Prelims Focus. These are the short notes which will be helpful for both prelims as well as mains. We'll start today's discussion with AI generated content. So it's a news because the IT Ministry has released a draft amendment to the Information Technology, Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules of 2021. It requires social media companies to allow users to self-declare if the content they upload is AI generated. In cases where users fail to make such declarations, platform must proactively detect and label AI generated content. So the declaration must cover 10% of contents area and applies to all type of synthetic content, including text, video, and audio, and is not limited to photorealistic content. That is, even animated images, for example, should follow it. I mean, there should be declaration for it also. And the draft also defines synthetically generated information as information which is artificially or algorithmically created, generated, modified, or altered using a computer resource in a manner that such information reasonably appears to be authentic or true. So, two things with regard to it. First thing is there is similar rules in China. For example, there is watermarking for AI generated content, synthetic media. Second aspect is till now in India we are using the IT Act of 2000 for covering dealing issues with regard to impersonation, etc. So having seen this, we will see about the deepfakes. It's a very important thing, which the issue which we are facing now. So there is C's definition. They are synthetic media which includes the images, videos, or audio that has been convincingly altered and manipulated to misrepresent someone as doing or saying something that was not actually done or said. So we had examples of deepfakes of Indian actors. We also had deepfakes of world leaders like former president of USA Barack Obama sir's, even present president Donald Trump's video. So these create a very big issue. Another aspect is the difference between deepfakes and morphing. So morphing was prevalent till now. That is before deepfakes. The differentiating factor is that in morphing, the whether the videos are morphed or images are morphed, it is easy to say whether they are real or fake ones. But whereas in deepfakes, it's very difficult. For example, third person is seeing a video. Suppose he or she is seeing a deepfake video of someone whom he or she doesn't know. It will be very difficult for that person to say whether it is a fake or a real one. So that is why this such video, AI generated videos creates a lot of issues. So having seen the definition of deepfakes, we will now see the positive uses of AI generated content. First one is in education and learning. So it is with the AI generated. The one thing is this image is also AI generated. So in education sphere, it is AI can be used to generate personalized learning. It can be also used to create uh, virtual teaching assistants, etc. In healthcare, it can be used to generate patient reports, diagnosis, generative health records, etc. Also, virtual patient stimulation can be used for training doctors. So these are the examples of AI in generative AI in healthcare. In entertainment and media, AI is used to generate music, video, or now even the films are there. So this will be helpful in creating a immersive experience for the people to watch. Also, it democratizes creativity in a way that people who didn't lack uh, technical knowledge for creating such creative things are now able to take the help of AI to create such contents. In business and productivity, AI chat boxes, virtual assistants are very helpful in improving the productivity. Also, we have automated generation of presentations, reports, etc. using AI. We are also seeing, for example, practically if you search something in Google, we are seeing a AI generated response. So this also gives improves of productivity. So in communication in accessibility domain, AI can be used to create sign language virtual assistants or a generation of subtitles, especially for hearing impaired people. It can be also used to translate on demand the into different multiple languages. So these are the possible ways in which AI is using communication area. So having seen this, we will see the misuses of it, potential misuses of it. So first is in political propaganda and misinformation. So deep fakes can be used to weaponize the can be used as a weapon in during election processes. So any speeches of political leaders can be fabricated, can be falsely stated using deep fakes, and create a false propaganda. With this, they can alter the mindset of voters and change their voting patterns. So in this way, they can hijack the election process itself. Next is regarding the character assassination and morphing for sexual exploitation. Generally, many a times these deepfakes are used to create sexually explicit content of females. So they used to blackmail, use such content to blackmail them or make some or socially humiliate them. So even the uh, prominent women leaders are not are even targeted by this. So next is in financial frauds and identity theft. Even the biometrics can be in a way tampered with voice cloning and facial cloning. Also, we have the issue of fake calls. So the attackers may maybe use generative AI tools to generate a fake video call of the CEOs or senior people in their companies and misuse their position. So the next aspect is undermining trust in legitimate media. That is liars dividend. So it's an important keyword which you can use it in mains. So what this means is with the proliferation of deepfakes, people may even dismiss the authentic evidence. This erosion of trust of people in the authentic evidence means liars dividend. For example, suppose a deepfake video of a politician is created of accepting a bribe. Now, even if the politician comes with evidence and submits it to people saying that these are the evidence that I have not done the crime, still people won't believe it. This is because of the original the deepfake video of the politician accepting the bribe. So this is an example of a liar's dividend. So having seen these misuses, we will see the mains practice question regarding it. So the question is: the rapid rise of deepfake technology poses serious threat to national security, democracy, and individual privacy. Discuss the ethical, legal, and technological challenges associated with deepfakes and suggest measures to address them. So it's for 15 mark 250 words. So you can introduce by mentioning what defining deepfakes, or you can even mention any recent news with regard to it. Then directly jump to the main demand of the question. So main demand is two aspects. They are asking challenges. That too explicitly I mentioned of ethical, legal, and technological. And next part is measures. So directly you can just put a subheading as ethical challenges. So here you can mention of right to privacy. You can also talk about changing or misleading public. So these are the examples you can mention under ethical challenges. In legal, you can say that India we don't have a specific AI related comprehensive law. You can say that the IT Act of 2000 is insufficient to tackle such rising and new types of crime. Third, under technological challenges, you can mention as these issues are not easily preventable. So it's very very difficult to prevent. Also, you can also mention about digital illiteracy among the people. Also, you can mention that the tools by which such deepfakes are used, they are also continuously evolving, continuously being updated. So these are the technology challenges which we are facing. And next, you can mention about the measures that need to be taken. So this also you can, if you want, you can group it in the subheadings. So you can mention about, talk about increasing people's awareness, making them digitally literate. You can talk about fact check units so that the content is fact checked. The whatever content is posted in the net is fact checked. You can also talk about AI based detection tools for detecting AI. So essentially, what you are doing is you are using AI to detect another counter the AI, another AI. So this concept you can mention as an example or write as an perspectives while doing in essay or ethics paper. That is two sides of the same coin, or this is an example of two sides of the same coin of AI. That is, it is both positive and negative. So these are the measures, and you can talk about need of comprehensive legislation. You can also talk about need for data protection law, strict data protection laws. So these are the ways in these are the measures which you can talk about. Then you can conclude in a positive or a optimistic way. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we will be seeing about Maoist insurgency. So the context is, so following a series of counter-insurgency operations and a wave of surrenders and arrests, India's decade-old Maoist insurgency has significantly weakened. So this year, all the three metrics, that is the number of militants killed, arrested and surrendered, recorded new heights. So these are the graphs depicting them. So the total number of surrendered Maoists in 2025 is 1,849, and total arrest has been about 836, and total insurgents killed or extremists killed is about 333. So we will see the reduction in the geographic spread of Maoist activity has accelerated in recent years. So in 2013, there were 175 districts affected by left-wing extremism. So this map represents the districts affected with left-wing extremism in 2013, and this map represents the district affected with left-wing extremism in 2025. So they are drastically reduced. So now it has come down to 11 from 175 in 2013. So this includes seven districts in Chhattisgarh and one in Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Odisha. So this is the context of the news. Now we will see about the left-wing extremism. So the Maoist or a Naxalite movement began in 1967 at Naxalbari village in West Bengal, inspired by the Mao Zedong's ideology of armed peasant revolution. Because of this, this Naxalite movement gets its name from the Naxalbari village. That is why it is known as Naxalism. So the movement sought to overthrow the state through protracted people's war, claiming to fight for the rights of tribals, landless laborers, and the marginalized. So we will see the causes for the Maoist insurgency. First one is the social economic causes. So the land reforms, failure of land reforms in many areas was one of the issue. Second aspect is incidences of poverty and inequality among the marginalized people. So these are a possible and a lack of development initiatives for them. So these are a possible economic, socio-economic causes for them. Second aspect is about the governance deficit. First is states weak present in the remote tribal areas, especially in the red corridors. So we'll see about the red corridors in the upcoming slide. Another aspect is failure of reach of welfare schemes to people, especially due to corruption. This is also one of the aspect. Also, there were instances of police excess on the marginalized people. So these are the probable reasons under the governance the aspect. Another aspect is the political and the ideological causes. The one important point is that failure of mainstream political parties to uh, accept the marginalized people in them, people's representative in them. Second aspect is Seeing this Maoist ideology, these people seeing as a Maoist ideology as a alternative to states oppression. So these are the possible reasons for Maoist insurgency in India. So we'll see about the Red Corridor. So Red Corridor means the Naxalite affected area. So it spanned across the Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Bihar. So this is it. Now the one positive aspect, now as we see in the previous study, this is significantly reduced. And the Dandakaranya region, which borders of Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Maharashtra, is Maoist, was considered as Maoist stronghold. So we will see the government's response with regard to it. First is the aspect of security measures. We had a coordinated counter-insurgency operations by the forces from different states, and we also had specialized units like Greyhounds, Cobra Commandos, etc. Greyhounds are the specialized units of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Cobra Commandos come on specialized units of CRPF. Then we have development initiatives by the government, like development of infrastructures like schools, roads, hospitals, etc. Then also we had aspirational district programs, etc. These comes under development initiatives. Another aspect is surrender and rehabilitation policies. So even though in one side we were ready to accept the surrender, and the other side we also engage with them using force. So under surrender policy, we gave them incentives to surrender, including financial aid, skilling them, and reintegrating them with the population. So these are the some of the government's measures with regard to left wing extremism. And the important one is Samadhan doctrine. This is important from Main's perspective. It was announced by the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2017. So this is can be asked as a one-line statement in prelims, like which ministry announced it. They might confuse you with Ministry of Defense. So the Samadhan Doctrine is the Union government's integrated strategy to tackle left-wing extremism or Naxalism in India. So we'll see what the Samadhan stands for. So it means smart policing and leadership, aggressive strategy, motivation and training, actionable intelligence, dashboard for development and key performance indicators, harnessing technology for development and security, action plan for each theatre, and no access to financing. So this is an important topic can or subtopic which can be asked in mains. So another thing which can be asked with regard to Naxalism in mains is urban Naxals. That's also a very important one. Please check about it. Now we will see a prelims practice question with regard to Naxalism. So the question is, with reference to Naxalism or left-wing extremism in India, consider the following statements. First statement is, the Naxalite movement originated in West Bengal in the late 1960s as a peasant uprising inspired by Maoist ideology. Yes, this is correct. The Red Corridor refers to the areas affected by left-wing extremism, mainly spread across central and eastern India. Yes, this is correct. The Forest Rights Act of 2006 was enacted primarily to provide compensation to the victims of Naxal violence. No, this is incorrect. So don't jump to mark 1 and 2. They are asking the incorrect statements. So be careful to read whether they are asking correct or incorrect statements. Don't do this blunder. So here they are asking correct statements. So the answer will be option D, 3 only. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this topic, we'll see about the unreliable air and noise monitoring networks in India. The context is the environmental monitoring in India faces major credibility issues. The Delhi's real-time air pollution network and the Lucknow's national ambient noise monitoring network suffer from poor design and execution. So we will see about the flawed air quality monitoring in Delhi. And now in Delhi, after the Diwali celebrations, the air quality still remains poor. So in Delhi, the issue is that the sensors for monitoring the air quality are placed in inaccurate or improper places. For example, the sensors are placed under trees, behind the walls, or in less polluted areas. This will result in inaccurate reading. So what happens is, the official data often shows moderate air quality even during severe smog. This indicates a governance failure. because the unreliable evidence results to weak pollution policy. So we will see this importance of data-driven policy in upcoming slides. So next is regarding the noise pollution in the Lucknow. So the noise levels in several cities exceed the CPCB, that is the Central Pollution Control Board limits. Sensors fail to capture the true decibel levels. So the CPCB is very important. Can be asked in direct statements regarding the CPCB can be asked in prelims. So India still uses outdated noise pollution rules of 2000. So enforcement and penalties are weak, that is by the CPCB, and limits are way below the WHO guidelines. So we will see why data is very important in public policy. So this is the public policy cycle. It's very important for governance under the GS2. This is the normal public policy cycle. There are other diagrams also with certain changes. In-depth reading of them is not required for, but it is as a separate topic is very required, and in-depth reading is required for public administration optional students. For GS perspective, normal reading is sufficient. So this is the general cycle. So broadly, we can say that public policy you can divide as 3 stages. Just for understanding, I'm saying one is policy design, second is policy execution or implementation, third is the policy evaluation. So under policy design, you design a policy. So for that, you need to know why you need to have a public policy and the inputs for the public policy. For example, take the example of public policy to counter air pollution. So the need is that there is air pollution, we need to counter it. So what are the inputs? Broadly, we can say certain inputs like the visibility is low, people are having breathing difficulties, etc. We can give a better inputs by data. So the data will create more efficient inputs. For example, you can say this is the amount of particulate matter present in the air. This is the amount of carbon monoxide or ozone present in the air. This data will give a correct reading of what is present and result in better policy formulation. So when now this policy is designed and being implemented, the policy is then evaluated. Evaluation means checking whether the policy is able to justify or able to achieve the desired goals of it. Here also you can the data driven evaluation will be very helpful. For example, suppose the policy, one of the aims of policy, suppose the air pollution control policy is reduce the particulate matter to certain limit. So if you are doing the policy evaluation, you can check whether the particulate matter levels have been reduced or not. The level of carbon monoxide or ozone in the air has been reduced or not. So when you are going with this data driven policy, it becomes the public policy itself become more efficient, and we are more reliable. So that is the why the data is very important in public policy, and that is why data, even while writing the mains answer, we quote many data from the government institutions. So here the how accurate the data is very important. So we will see the effective policies on stubble burning, vehicles and industrial emissions require accurate data. For example, consider the recent case of Delhi air pollution in Delhi. There are people saying that it's because of firecrackers. Other people are saying because of stubble burning from Punjab and in the areas of Punjab or Haryana. So we need to have a reliable and accurate data so that we can find out what is the cause for this pollution. Like how much percentage of pollution is being contributed because of stubble burning, how much pollution of this particular pollution is contributed by bursting of firecrackers, how much percentage of this particular pollution is contributed by vehicles. So these all we need to know. For this we need to have a reliable and accurate data. That is why data is very important. Another thing is in Delhi the green crackers were allowed by the Supreme Court. So one thing to note is the green crackers are less polluting. but not pollution free. This is also one thing to be remembered. So the distorted data undermines India's global commitment to various goals as a Paris Agreement and WU standards. For example, in Paris Agreement, we have a commitment of generating 40 percentage of electricity from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030. Here we need to show the data. So only reliable data will be helpful with regard to this. Which will be helpful even to for our country to be more credible. And poor monitoring will result in compromised policy direction and accountability. So what are the issues? So with regard to CPCB also. So CPCB guidelines on calibration and audits exist but are poorly enforced. It's an important aspect. So there are guidelines to some aspect, but they are not properly enforced. Again, in previous articles also, many a times, sometimes I said that the main issue with regard to public policy in India is policy implementation or enforcement, or even you can say of laws. Any laws also, if you see, the laws are formulated but are weakly, and the enforcement is very poor. So poor enforcement is one of the major issue. So there is no independent review panel or third party audits, and there is also political interference, and lack of transparency reduces public confidence in official data. So for this, the best suggested measures is empowering the local bodies. That is, because we have this democratic decentralization, the 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment. So if the local bodies are empowered, and also we can talk about social audits to address these issues. So we will see a prelims question with regard to it, with regard to CPCB. So it was a PYQ asked in 2018. The question is, how is the National Green Tribunal, that is NGT, different from Central Pollution Control Board? So statements are, the NGT has been established by the Act, whereas CPCB has been created by an executive order of the government. Now this is incorrect. The CPCB is also is established by Act. Please check whether it is Water Act or Air Act. That's very important statement regard to CPCB. Check whether it is created by War Act, Air Act or Water Act. Second statement is, NGT provides environmental justice and helps reduce the burden of litigation in the higher courts, whereas the CPCB promotes cleanliness of streams and wells and aims to improve the quality of air in the country. Yes, this is correct. So they are asking which of the above given statement is or are correct. So the answer will be option B, 2 only. So with regard to certain organization like CPCB, best thing to refer the like what they are, how they are created, is to see the official website. If we go to the official website, there will be a tab mentioning about us. Please read from there. Most probably the statements in UPSC will be also taken from that under that tab description only. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we'll be seeing about the rights and protection of domestic workers in India. We'll move on to this article. So the Supreme Court, we'll first see the Supreme Court Directives of 2024. This was said in January. So the Supreme Court directed the Union government to enact a comprehensive law for domestic workers' rights. A committee was to be set up to frame this law and submit a report within 6 months. The status of the report still remains unclear. So we will see about the status of domestic workers in India. So India has an estimated 4 to 90 million domestic workers, mostly women and girls from SC and ST communities. So here also we can see the issue with the data. We are not having accurate data regarding how many domestic workers are there, because difference is very huge. Between 4 to 90 million is about 86 million domestic workers difference. So first thing we need the requirement is of a accurate data regarding how many domestic workers are there. Rough estimates is about 4 to 90 million domestic workers. Of them, majorly they are females, that is both women as well as girls. So that is female children. Children are also a part of domestic as working as domestic workers. And also another aspect is majority of them are from scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. and they are vulnerable due to isolation, lack of workplace oversight, and exploitation by employment agencies. So another aspect here is it is very difficult to check the workplace conditions. So many times we will see that the domestic workers, some of them will be working for full time in one particular place, others will be working as a part time, like a few hours in particular household. So checking the working conditions is difficult. Also ensuring that certain benefits for them, even if it exists for them, like minimum leaves, minimum wages, etc., also becomes very tricky, and enforcing them becomes very tricky. Important aspect here is the exploitation by employment agencies. So between the employers and the domestic workers comes the employment agency. These agency itself exploit the domestic workers. So this is very important because this intermediate also needs to be checked. Next is child labor, harassment, and low or unpaid wages are widespread. Harassment includes even the sexual harassment. And migrant and cross-border workers lack protection under the current law. So we will see the legal and institutional gaps in India. So India has no national level legislation for domestic workers, though India supported the International Labour Organization Convention number 189 on domestic workers' rights. It has not ratified it. Important point can be asked directly as a statement in prelims. India has not ratified it, but has supported it. And several legislative attempts since 1915, including the NPTW Draft Bill of 2017. That is, the NPTW stands for National Platform for Domestic Workers. They also failed to become a law. So we will see certain state level initiatives regarding with regard to domestic workers. First is from Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu has a welfare board under the Manual Workers Act of 1982, and it provides pensions, maternity benefits, educational aid, and accident relief. And a minimum wage stipulator is about 37 to 39 rupees per hour, but many of them earn less. Also, another issue is that many people are not registered under it. There is also lack of awareness. So these are some positive things which can be incorporated if a national law is designed. And you can also use this point as a good point, or which needs to be incorporated in any law while giving a mains answer, while answering a mains question. Next is with regard to Karnataka. It has announced the Domestic Workers Social Security and Welfare Bill of 2025, and it mandates registration of workers and written contracts, and it ensures minimum wages, overtime pay, weekly holidays, and employees to contribute 5% of wages to a welfare fund. Now we'll see a mains practice question regard to this topic. And before we see the question, I made a mistake. The Supreme Court directive is of 2025, not 2024. That was a mistake in the previous slide. So we'll get back to the question. The question is: domestic workers form an essential yet invisible part of India's labor force, facing structural inequalities and lack of legal protection. Discuss the challenges faced by domestic workers in India and suggest measures to ensure their welfare and dignity. So 15 marks and 250 words. So they asked two parts. First is challenges, second is measures. So you can give a short intro about domestic workers. You can give a data point regarding them. Second is directly you can mention the challenges faced by them. For first, you can mention that they are a part of informal workforce. They are not a part of formal workforce. So they lack many benefits such as social security benefits. There are wages issues there. They are also exploited, and there's also caste or gender based bias with regard to them. There's also migration issues. These are the issues which you can mention. Second, then you can mention about the measures. So measures, as you mentioned in the previous slide, you can include those of the Tamil Nadu benefits such as social security benefits, uh, maternity benefits. Then you can have leave provisions, minimum wages. These are the points which you can mention under measures. Also, key thing to note is the constitutional provisions with regard to them. So there is Article 23, prohibition of trafficking in human and forced labor. That's one. Then there are DPSP articles related to this. For example, Article 39 and Article 42. Please check about them. So that's it for this topic. And in the conclusion, with regard to this question, kindly conclude in an optimistic way. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. Now we will see the topics under the prelims focus. The first one is the live cases dashboard. It's inaugurated by the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice. It's established under the Legal Information Management and Briefing System, and its objective is to provide real-time data visualization of court cases. So this you can mention it as an example of good governance initiative in mains. So next topic is regarding the Competition Commission of India. This is important for both prelims as well as mains. So it comes under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and the Competition Act of 2002 is the primary registration regarding it and is amended by the Competition Amendment Act of 2007. It follows a philosophy of modern competition laws. Its aim is to eliminate practices having adverse effect on competition, promote and sustain competition, protect the interest of consumers, and ensure freedom of trade in the markets of India. Next is the INS Shayadri, that is Indian naval ship Shayadri. So it's the third ship of the Shivalik class guided missile stealth frigates, indigenously designed and constructed. This is an important statement. It can be asked directly as a statement in prelims. So it's commissioned in 2012 and is a shining example of India's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. So this is also, you can quote it as an example in mains answers. So based at Visakhapatnam as a part of Eastern Fleet under the aegis of Eastern Naval Command. So next is the Google AI Hub. So it will be set up at Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Its objective is to establish India's first gigawatt scale AI data center and to bring together advanced AI infrastructure, data center capacity, large scale renewable energy sources, and an expanded fiber optic network all in one place. So significance is that it will strengthen India's position as a global leader in technology while boosting the country's digital economy. So AI is a buzzword today. You are supposed to know the terms associated with AI. First thing we should know what is AI. Then the terms with regard to it, like neural network, natural language processing, machine learning, etc. In prelims, you can be asked like a match the following statements with regard to definition of these terms and their definition, or they can ask a description of an AI, and they can ask what is it. So we will see a prelims PYQ. It was asked in 2018. This is not exactly regarding to AI, but an example in which the question can be asked. The question is, it's a very long question. So when the alarm of your smartphone rings in the morning, you wake up and tap it to stop the alarm, which causes your geyser to switch on automatically. The smart mirror in your bathroom shows the day's weather and also indicates the level of water in your overhead tank. After you take some groceries from your refrigerator for making breakfast, it recognizes the shortage of stock in it and places an order for the supply of fresh grocery items. When you step out of your house and lock the doors, all lights, fans, geysers, and AC machines get switched off automatically. On your way to office, your cars warn you about the traffic congestion ahead and suggests an alternative route, and if you are late for a meeting, it sends a message to your office accordingly. In the context of the emerging communication technologies, which one of the following terms best applies to the above scenario? So the option A is Border Gateway Protocol, B is Internet of Things, C is Internet Protocol, and D is Virtual Private Network. So actual answer will be option B, Internet of Things. I'll suggest you to kindly check what other three terms are associated with the meaning of it. So that's it for this topic. That's it for today's discussion. If you find the video helpful, please give a valuable feedback and like the video, and do subscribe to get regular updates. Thank you and have a great day.